Good morning, Thomas.
Hi, Terry.
Good morning. Hi. Good morning, and welcome to our viewers. The first keynote presentation this morning is brought to you by Diamond sponsor RTB House. RTB House is a global company that provides state-of-the-art marketing technologies for top brands and e-commerce companies worldwide. Representing RTB House is Tomasz Wnuk, who is Director of Business Development. Tomasz is responsible for the strategic management of the company's activities in the regions of MENA, Iberia, Italy, Balkans, and the Baltics. During this presentation, Tomasz is going to explain to you how successful companies implement AI to grow their businesses faster. This webinar will present some examples of AI in action and discuss how it will continue to grow as an integral part of every aspect of digital marketing and our lives. On behalf of Kinetic and Ecom 2020, I'm happy to welcome Tomasz Wnuk. Thank you, Tomasz. The platform is all yours.
Thank you, Terry. So let's start with my presentation. So, hi guys. I wanted to cover with this presentation the area of technology, how it has changed our lives, but at the same time, at RTB House, we are doing online ads. So I wanted to also cover how the ads have changed throughout times, because that gives some sort of a concept where and why do we need to have technology. And just to give wider scope, I also want to cover how technology changed our lives and what we can expect in the future. So as promised, let's start with the past of displayed advertising and when we are today. And believe me or not, but it all has started 2000 years before Christ, and that was the ancient Egypt, where people would put information into the stone, into the steel, and as such, these were not ads. These were rather classifieds that were then published publicly, so everybody would be able to read them. After some time, it needed Gutenberg to invent the printing and to populate reading. Then, after the books, there were newspapers, and within the newspapers, you could see the very first ads inside, not only classifieds. And finally, moving on into online, in 1993, the Global Network Navigator was the first commercial website that has embedded advertisement, well, actually rather links into the display ads. Then in 1994, a really important date, so 26 years back, that you could see the very first ad that was published in the online. Obviously, you need to take into consideration that the bandwidth that were used at those times, they were mostly dial-up, so there was a challenge to download the banner. There was a challenge technology-wise because you wouldn't know how the banner really performs until the campaign has ended. So in this particular case, that was only after 3 months of the campaign where you could learn what's the efficiency of the campaign. It costed 30,000 bucks for 3 months campaign, and actually the CTRs were sky high, 44%, but that was the very first ad. Within time, obviously, as more ads have been shown on the internet, advertisers would be willing to see more data, not only after the campaign has passed, but also throughout the campaign life, which is why there was this concept of double click, which came to the market with DART, dynamic advertising reporting and targeting, which enabled companies to track how many times an ad was viewed, so the impressions, and how many times it was clicked. In 1999, there was first placement search engine service. As you see, it starts with G, but it's not Google. That was goto.com. And advertisers were given the opportunity to bid for the top search results. Then we move into mid 2000s with rising starts of social networks. And Facebook, after launching, was neglecting advertising for some time. And eventually in 2006, finally decided to move into the area of advertising in order to increase companies' profitability. So, we've started from a single banner with sky-high CTRs. Then we moved into the other areas. Obviously, you were seeing more and more ads. So in 1995, Web Connect introduced first custom view tool, which capped the number of times a particular user was shown a single banner ad. So already there started to be first solutions in order to limit the exposure of the ads to a single user. Well, today in 2020, actually the data are from 2019, the landscape is substantially more competitive. So the challenge in order to provide the proper information to the users that would not generate user fatigue is substantially more difficult. Yeah, on that whole landscape, there's just a small sign of RTB House. We are trying to make it bigger from one year to another, but definitely in order to build your presence in that ecosystem, you need to come up with something reasonable, something that will stand out of competition. And at RTB House, we believe that in order not to generate user fatigue, in order for the users to be particularly interested in the ads that advertisers want to show, is to show relevant ads. Because we've started with the history of the ads 2000 years before Christ, and already within those times, that was buying and selling. That was that created first pillars for growing the economies, and that goes throughout the ages, throughout even pandemic times, all the time, because we as people want to buy, and we are producing, we want to sell. So there is a demand. The thing is, from the standpoint of view of advertising, is to show relevant ads so people would respond to them. Now, at RTB House, we believe that we can meet the expectations of showing relevant ads by using deep learning. But deep learning, artificial intelligence, as a concept, these are just a buzzword. So let's go a bit deeper. What do they mean? So in 1915, that was Alan Turing that developed the first Turing test, which was able to determine whether a machine can think like a human being. Then in 1956, there was the term of artificial intelligence was first time used. And only in 1997, it came into life with the first huge achievement of computers, of the artificial intelligence. That was the year when IBM's Deep Blue computer has beaten the world champion, chess champion, Garry Kasparov. Then in 2011, you would see Apple introducing Siri. In 2014, Amazon Echo has been released. Then in 2016, Microsoft experimented with Tay, but shortly withdrawn that. We have, in the internet ecosystem, you had some dark sides as well. But in 2018, that's Erika, a robot that became the news anchor in Japan. And in 2019, a genderless voice has been created. And bear in mind this 2019, because something interesting happened in that year when it comes to artificial intelligence as well. Now, what's the difference between machine learning and between deep learning? Because, as an artificial intelligence, the concept is wide, but there's a couple of different names underneath. The key difference between machine learning and deep learning, this is the number of the iterations that are being done over a second. So you've got those flops, floating point operations, but whatever the definition is, because that's quite complex, the thing is that machine learning within a second is able to do 80 calculations, while deep learning 200,000. What does it mean? It can analyze substantially more data and hence come up to better conclusions. Now, reverting to the ad industry, well, the biggest spenders in that respect, and already those data are for 2020 and have been adjusted for the expected impact of COVID. Top spenders are definitely US, China, by far. South Africa is on the 38th place with expected market value of $738 million. It's projected to grow. We should expect that we would cross 1 billion in 2023. And as you see, the shares between classifieds, video, social, banners, and search are quite stable over time. What will be changing, that's going to be even stronger penetration of digital advertising mobile, mostly because of the devices. The devices will be more and more useful in order to be a placement for the ads, and on the other hand, to make those ads more executable. We would see also within time that, according to Statista, the share of programmatic is going to increase from around 80% this year to 83% in 2024. Now, moving on into really interesting topics, so usage of deep learning in practice. It is being used in lots of different sectors, and I've tried to gather here like the most important ones, like the customer experience, deep learning robots, language recognitions, email spam filters, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. But let me try to somehow make it more systematic. So first of all, when it comes to deep learning, it is and artificial intelligence, it is able to analyze which information we would be interested in. And obviously, representing RTB House, I can tell you about how do we cope with product recommendations. So the algorithm would analyze what the user was seeing on the ad, on the web page of an advertiser, and then upon that, select the products he would be most interested in. And these can be goods that the user already has seen, the goods that he already added into the basket, but sometimes things which the user did not really think of. So, for example, if a user was looking for female shoes, the algorithm, in many cases, would put on the banner also bags, because he has perceived, he has projected that people looking for shoes would end up buying a bag. When it comes to social media, no need to comment too much, but all of us know that the wall consists of the information that are being aggregated deliberately to us based on their popularity and some other factors. Then you've got the news aggregators. So aggregators would know that we were interested in specific informations around the internet. And dear Tomasz, you were preparing yourself for this presentation. You were looking for the articles about ancient Egypt and those classifieds written in the stone. So we've got the following information for you. Brand safety algorithms. So many advertisers do not want to show their ads next to inappropriate content. We can use deep learning technologies in order to read the articles and cluster them, whether they are whether they have appropriate information inside or not. Then, moving on to different areas, we've got the area of translation. So, on one hand, the algorithms are able to translate even the most difficult languages, even the language, the gesture language. They are also able to identify our plates when we are overspeeding. But what's one of my favorite examples on this slide, this is text generation. So the algorithm, after reading a couple of books from a certain author, can create a new text that's going to be written in the same way that the author would write. You've got also usage of that technology in the media. So if you are interested in looking for, reading articles about um, specific information, then the algorithms would go over the internet, look for those type of information, read the article, and shorten them so that the newsletter you would get on your email would be substantially shorter. And that shortening doesn't destroy the information that was supposed to be found in the article. On top, you've got this image caption generation. So the algorithm would know that this is black and white dog that is jumping over the bar. You don't need to tell it to the algorithm. He would know. And you've got usage of those technologies in drones that are delivering blood to the people who need it. And it takes minutes instead of hours when you would order an ambulance. Having said that, and moving on into this healthcare system, already Google artificial intelligence has proven to be better than human beings in detecting breast cancer. You've got also solutions from Siemens and IBM that are assisting radiologists by providing additional information. So radiologists do not need to compare the pictures one to another. They do not need to analyze certain stuff. All of those are already given. So they are great of help to the doctors. And obviously that's an that's an industry and area that's heavily increasing. Then moving on from those pictures and virtual world into the real world, you've got robots working as manufacturers. You've got autonomous vehicles like Tesla that came to the market as an electric car and ended up with being one of the first cars to be self-driven. And if you look on the YouTube, you will be able to find interesting videos with Tesla omitting taking part in an accident. So I do recommend you to look for those. Computers have proven to be more efficient and more safe than people. You've got Boston Dynamics, so this robot here. I strongly encourage you also to look for those videos. These are heavy-duty robots that can do various stuff. They are trained, and learning them sometimes looks cruel, but ends up with perfectly working machines. And in many places around the world, you've got autonomous public transportation, which already has proven to be more safe than the one driven by human beings. I strongly encourage you to go to YouTube and to try to see that video. So a self-driving Tesla car kills a Promobot. Promobot, which you can see on this slide, this is a Russian robot that has made a handshake with President Vladimir Putin. On the other hand, on that video, you would see a self-driving Tesla car that has hit that promo robot. It happened last year, so 2019, which is why I told you that that was an important milestone, because in 2019 we've got a first accident when a promo robot has escaped. He should not be on that street, and an autonomous car driven in the autonomous mode has hit the robot. Moving on with the usage of artificial intelligence, it is being used in customer service at this point of time with some chatbots that interact with us. It is being used with our smart assistants that can tell us many things already, and within the transportation. So, when we used to go to the office, when that was allowed, I would always ask my maps to tell me which way should I take. And obviously, I know how to get to my office from my house and how to come back. but as I live in a big city and we've got a dense traffic, frequently the routes would change, helping me to look for faster ways. Obviously, at this point of time, those solutions are not bulletproof. And once again, I encourage you to look for a video of this performance, Simon's record. You would see on that video that this guy took a card and filled it in with cell phones. Each and every of those cell phones was turned on and had Google Maps turned on. And he took a walk around central Berlin. Actually, he took a walk on the way next to Google headquarters. Within minutes or even seconds, Google has seen those streets as blocked with traffic jam and started to reroute the regular traffic. So none of those solutions is bulletproof yet, but definitely we see all those algorithms helping us on a daily basis. Now, moving on into future, obviously it's easy to predict the future, but it's hard to make it right. I've gathered a couple of my favorite quotes, in 1943, IBM was expecting that in the world there's a room for maybe 5 computers. Microsoft Manager in 1991 was expecting that DOS will stay with us forever. We've learned how passionate people are about DOS. Even Bill Gates was thinking that 640K should be enough for anybody. Having said that, I don't want to make similar mistakes. I won't draw you future where we would become cyborgs when our cars would fly. Maybe some of those would happen, maybe not. I won't go into this science fiction mode. Let's focus on the things that we observe already today, and hence we can expect that will be there in years. At this point of time, if you want to use artificial intelligence, if you want to use deep learning, you need to have huge computing power, which is why most of your assistants will work only if you have a proper internet connection. The same goes with the maps and so on and so forth. As we see already, within our lives, we see that the computing powers of our tools have been increased substantially. We can expect that that will continue to happen. And if that's the case, then finally we will be able to have all those artificial intelligence on our devices, not somewhere in the clouds. Hence, it's going to be even more personalized. It's going to take more data that it interacts on a daily basis when being close with us, and it's going to be smarter. Then, a huge challenge when it comes to artificial intelligence is feeding it with the data. So for Tesla, it took millions of kilometers to be driven by real cars, driven by human beings around the globe, to come up with proper algorithms how to drive. For this breast cancer detection, it also needed lots of pictures to be downloaded to the computer and marked as yes, there is cancer, no, there is not, for the computers to learn. But as those artificial intelligence algorithms become smarter and smarter, they start to invent the data themselves and import data themselves. So, for example, if you learn an algorithm how to play chess, it will not thank you, but it will know how to play, and it will start playing with itself. So you've provided 10,000 games into the algorithm, but from that moment, the algorithm starts playing with himself, learning substantially more different cases and learning how to be even better in playing. If that's the case, if the artificial intelligence will be smarter and if it's gonna be able to learn even faster, then we will start interacting with artificial intelligence without even knowing it. At this point of time, if you have a chatbot, then you know that you're talking to a chatbot, and you can easily distinguish where the chatbot is and where a true person is servicing you on the phone. But as you've got those artificial voices, as you've got this artificial intelligence getting smarter and smarter, within time, we will be interacting with AI without even knowing it. And on top, since we will have more computing power in each and every of our devices will get smarter. And then at this point of time, we've got already those stuff. Yeah, we've got smart TVs, smart lamps, smart soundbars, smart washing machines. But the scale we are using their smartness is extremely limited. As the technology will evolve and as the computing power will be bigger, the way they will be able to help us is going to be substantially more. This Tesla robotaxi is a concept of Tesla, where Tesla would drive you to your office in the morning, then work as an Uber throughout the day, charge itself when needed, and wait at the hour taken from your calendar to take you back home. Now, if all those happen, then the artificial intelligence will be moving closer and closer into interacting with us and helping us on a daily basis. Well, this robot, this is Papai, he is quite popular in Japan, helping elderly people not to feel lonely. He's their assistant. He reminds about taking medicines, and he also speaks, watches TV with them. But that's just part of what the robots and the algorithms will be able to do. Within time, I don't see any problem with the artificial intelligence to answer some of your emails, to give some of the acceptances, to manage your calendar. This is just about the imagination and how smart the algorithms will become, and they will become smarter and smarter within time. And if that's the case, then it's about the ones who will benefit most out of this small evolution, call it as you wish. This will be the ones who will be able to benefit, who will be able to digest this cooperation better. Well, you've got Sophia. This is the first robot that has a citizenship. Sophia was given citizenship in KSA, and already you can rent Sophia to host conferences. I don't know how smart she is in the webinars. Maybe I should do my homework better. But she's able already to interact with the guests, to speak with the guests, and it's not like a robot style you would expect. She's moving on into becoming smarter and smarter. So I believe that those companies will benefit most that will be able to identify the areas where the artificial intelligence will help them in regular tasks, whether that's working on the stage, whether that's working in the warehouse or anywhere else. If you find a spot where simple tasks or maybe simpler tasks could be used, then this is an area where you can try to think how to implement artificial intelligence. Not only because it doesn't take any days off, but because, like Tesla has proven, can be even better executing those tasks than human beings. Now, moving on into another completely different vertical, within the filming industry, you have a film of Irishman, where you didn't need to make any makeups to make the Nero look older or younger. That has been done only throughout the algorithms. The algorithms have seen how the Nero was playing when he was younger, how does he look like today, and they've changed his appearance on the screen on the fly. Obviously, you've got the AI used in games, in the gaming industry. Those actors are looking more and more human-like. Maybe within time we will not need those actors any longer, and producers will be able to create films without interaction of human beings, or with little interaction of human beings. Obviously, there are some threats connected with that, because if you are able to analyze that amount of that huge amount of data, maybe you will no longer need any plates in order to identify the car. You will be able to identify by taking a glance look at the driver. Some companies are already working on that. I believe some countries are doing that as well. You've got smart gates that on the airports that open themselves once they scan your passport and your face without any human being, but they are able to capture substantially more data about you. This is a challenge for societies, but maybe at the same time that's going to be a cure how to cope with people traveling and not infecting others. We don't know it, but definitely there's an opportunity there and a threat there as well. Reverting to the playground of RTB House, we are trying to move with those experiments by using of deep learning as well. I was telling you about those chatbots. We are training our chatbots as well. So what they would do, they would start interacting on the banner, asking you, these are the products that I've put on the banner, but would you be particularly interested in coats, trousers, sweaters? And after selection, okay, cool. So this is the selection of coats that I want to propose to you. If you select one, then feel free to go directly into the shop. Obviously, those chatbots need some education, and that's something that's an ongoing process. Within time, they will become advisors. And once again, this is another area where you can have the advertising not spamming the user with irrelevant information, but going deeper into your real needs and trying to fulfill them. Then you can move away from retargeting and try to think about prospecting and branding campaigns. So if you have your product, let it be supplements, maybe you would be interested in showing your ads on the content that would be associated with sports, with health. So you can exclude, let the algorithms go through the whole internet, read those articles, and cluster them. They would cluster them as music, home, garden, beauty and fitness, shopping, jewelry. And if you wish to put your ads only next to health and sports, that's going to be done by the algorithms. And they will select the best placements, because already they are selecting, they know which of the placements on the web are better clickable, which not. So, you can apply just an additional filter how to make your ads more relevant, because when we're talking about a user that already has shown his interest, when we're talking about retargeting, it's a bit easier. When we're talking about branding, you need to associate your product with the content that the user is reading, because if I'm reading something about health, if I'm reading something about beauty and fitness, maybe I would be more interested in those supplements. On the other hand, if you want to exclude some websites which you do not want to associate your brand with, you can use brand safety. So, out of the whole world of the ad space, You can select perfect matching web pages with the context AI, selecting those categories, and exclude the ones that are not safe with the brand safety. And last but not least, throughout the time, our approach changes. So, each and every of us wants to buy something, some of us more, some of us less. Let's take, for example, cars. At this point of time, I'm happy with my car. But with my family, there's my car, which I love, and the car of my wife, which most probably we should change sooner or later. So, definitely I'm not even maybe I'm in the awareness phase. At this point of time, you should inspire me by showing various ads with different models that you have that could, influence me thinking of changing my car. Once I will start being interested in any of those models, most probably I will click on that ad. Maybe I will have a longer look at that particular impression. Maybe I would go to the website directly. Anyhow, I would show you my signal that I am interested in that ad. You can play with that in many ways. For example, we've got also yes no banners, so like no, not like banners, where you can, when the user can click on the ad saying, hey, I like this product. Okay, so now I'm in the phase of consideration. So speaking about the car for my wife, let's say that it's going to be a huge CUV. So now you should go after this particular model. You should convince me with its own unique selling points, making sure that I will move finally from the consideration stage into the conversion, where you should push me as much as possible. So contact the dealer, apply for leasing, apply for credit, and so on and so forth. But within time, maybe I won't be that interested in to the conversion. I will see another brand, I will see another model. I will go back into the awareness, and at this point of time, we could set up some rules, like like I was explaining to you, if I clicked on the ad, and so on and so forth. But as I was showing you throughout the presentation, the algorithms can be smarter than human beings. So if you allow them to identify those stages or multiple other stages, if you allow the algorithm to identify those stages themselves, if you allow the algorithms to select proper banners, proper messaging that the algorithms would know from their own experience that work best, you will have more precise communication that helps to build better brand perception, invest your money precisely where it needs to go. And at the same time, what I do ask for as a user, show me relevant ads. Like, I do want to spend my money, but I don't want to go into the web pages seeing lots of banners that attack me, that I cannot click the cross, seeing irrelevant things. All the advertisers, all the guys that serve the ads, think about the ads that will be appealing to me, and then I will say thank you, because like each and every of us, people do want to spend, they just don't want to get spammed. Thank you. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I hope you find it interesting. In case you had any additional questions, feel free to reach out to me, and me and my team will always be happy to have a discussion. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Tomasz, and the RTB House team for the insightful presentation. You can catch Tomasz again in 2 days' time during RTB House's webinar at 3 p.m. on the 6th of August. And for any more information on RTB solutions for your business, you can visit rtbhouse.com, or Tomasz's email address is on the slide at the bottom there. You can see that now. And then just a reminder that you can still register for all the other individual sessions on our website, www.ecommerce-africa.com. See you all later, and thank you, Tomasz. Pleasure having you.
Thank you so much.